All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakwadash, giving double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Peace and salutations to the Akim, the brethren out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth in 100% sincerity. And peace and salutations to the few and sincere sisters who believe in this gospel. So I want to entitle this lesson, "This truth is not a light thing, and we must take it seriously," right? And specifically talking about this truth, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and this work that has been assigned to us, right? And we got to take this seriously, right? Because what we're doing, man, is a spiritual investment. I was just listening to a brother's video, Salaki, I can't remember the name of the brother, but the brother was going into talking about spiritual investments, right? And that this work that we're doing, right? Doing these videos, going out on the highways and byways, studying, you know what I'm saying? Getting the breakdowns, all of these things are spiritual investments for the kingdom, right? To solidify, our place in the elect, right? And of course, the Lord knows whose his elect is, because they were chosen from the foundation of the earth, right? But we still have assignments to do. We still have things that we're going to do, right, to put on the elect. And a part of that is teaching his word, right? And this is pleasing to the Lord. Teaching his word is a thing that is pleasing to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Not just teaching it, but teaching it in its 100% pure form, 144% purest form, right? So let's go here. I'm going to start at Matthew chapter 24. And verse 14. And it reads, and it says, Salakia, 25 and verse 14, Salakia. And it says, "For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey," right? So the Lord gives us, and you can liken these talents unto, spiritual gifts. You have brothers who, are able to go into hour-long videos every single day, 2-hour-long videos every single day, breaking down history, breaking down prophecy, breaking down, news and things that is going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? You got Elder Apostle Dahar, who's doing 2, 3, sometimes even up to 5 and 6 videos a day. You know what I'm saying? Going into history, going into prophecy, going into the things that's happening in this world, right? And then, you got brothers who are, they might not have that particular measure, but they can still make, very edifying videos. The point is that whatever the Lord has given us, we're supposed to use it and make the most of it. We're supposed to make the most of, the ability that has been given to us. You know what I'm saying? Like Jake, who was born in, the hood or the projects or something like that, right? Who has little resources, but then he can still, become a famous athlete, an entertainer, or, whatever he may become, to gain riches and wealth and things like that, right? But yet he had very little resources, but he used what he had. He used what he had to the best of the best of his ability. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai wants us to do. You might not have the same, ability or skill set in this spiritual skill set that another brother may have, right? But you can still reap a benefit. You can still reap a profit for Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai with what he has given you. And that's what he's looking for, right? Verse 16, it says, "Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise, that he had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. Verse 21, and this is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for at the end of this truth, man. This is what we're the final words that we want to hear, right? Verse 21, it says, his Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord, right? The Lord will reward us for this work that we're doing. See, you can think that we're just doing this because, like, I've even heard people come up to us and say we're doing this because we've been assigned by the so-called white man to be doing this, and you know what I'm saying, we're doing this because, people say we crazy, which, it is what it is. We kind of are. So what? You got to be crazy to be in this truth, right? And to believe the things that we believe. But people say various different things about us, thinking that we're just doing this for something worldly, or we're doing this for something here on earth, or people who don't understand this truth, they think that we should be doing, things in the community that's going to reap, money, land, wealth, businesses, and all of these other things, right? And they just don't understand that the reward in the world to come is going to be much greater than anything we can receive here in this world. It's going to be much greater than anything we can receive here in this life. You know what I'm saying? It says, because the Lord says, he said, I will make thee ruler over many things, right? So when we get into the kingdom and the Lord gives us our reward, we're going to have rulership over lands. We're going to have rulership over, various different resources. We're going to have, very kingly responsibilities in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Various different brothers are going to be setting up infrastructures. We're going to be setting up things in the way, in the way of righteousness, right? We're going to be setting up our rulership. Just like Esau Edom came over here, conquered, and set up his rulership, we'll be doing the same thing. We'll be setting up our rulership in the kingdom as well. You know what I'm saying? Verse 22, it says, he also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord, right? Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine, right? See, this particular person who he hid his talent, he didn't have confidence that he could do the work properly. He didn't have the confidence. He didn't have the belief. He didn't have the faith, right? So he just said, you know what, I'm going to get the information and I'm going to just keep it to myself. I'm going to hide it somewhere. And hopefully when the Lord gets back and I give him what he gave me, he'll still be happy.
Please sign in to your vehicle before driving.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not what the Lord is looking for. The Lord is looking for a return on, what he has given us. He's looking for a return on his investment, right? Because the Lord has invested into us. The Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, has invested into us this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So the Lord is going to look for a return on that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that he's given us via the works that we do, right? right? Via through our faith, because we have works through our faith, and our works include going out there on the highways and byways year round, preaching His word, doing the videos, exhorting brothers, helping brothers out, doing things that are brotherly. You know what I'm saying? Doing things according to the scriptures, because we believe that in the end, if we do what is commanded of us to do, that we will receive the reward of the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? But this is what the Lord said to the one who hid his talent. It says, his Lord answered and said unto him, thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury, right? He was like, well, look, you could at least just put it, you could have put it in a Roth IRA or a high yield savings account, and I would have took that. But you chose to do nothing with it, right? And I'm speaking figuratively, of course, right? But the Lord is not pleased with somebody who does. See, like, you will have particular Israelites who will come on certain brothers' comment boards, and they will, one, they'll try and correct us. That's one thing a lot of times they'll try and do. But two, they'll bring out all these different precepts. But then you'll go to their channel, there's no videos, there's no camp lessons, there's nothing on their channel. You know what I'm saying? This is who the Lord is talking about. You have all the information and knowledge, but yet you're not doing nothing with it. You're not teaching. You're not going out to the highways and byways. You're not making any videos. You have no works. And the Lord is not going to be pleased with that when He comes back to find that you have no works, right? Shalakia. Yeah, this is Matthew 24 and verse 46. It says, I'm going to start at verse 45. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing, right? Shall find doing the works, doing the, putting in that work that the Lord has commanded us to do. Edifying the sheep, going into the video lessons, doing exhortations, and it don't matter if you don't get no views on your channel. It don't matter if, because this happens to me sometimes. I'll be in the spirit and I do a video lesson and I'm like, man, you feel fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? And I feel fulfilled after every video lesson I do, but certain video lessons is like you be in the spirit, and it's like you going in, you know what I mean? And you going in and you upload that, and you know what I'm saying? You come back a couple hours later and that thing say no views. 2 weeks, no views. And you like, damn, this is one of the best videos I did. But, the only thing that matters is that the angels recorded it. You know what I'm saying? It's up there in the lesson. The Lord knew, you know what I'm saying, how good the video lesson was. The Lord knew that you was in the spirit and that you put in that work. You know what I'm saying? And that you was bringing out the edification. That's all that really matters. Did you do it? Did you turn in the assignment? You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if anybody, necessarily watched, the work or watched the product of, what you did. Is it matter, did you do it? Right? It's the book of Philippians chapter 2, starting at verse 9, and it reads, wherefore the Most High also have highly exalted him, and given him a name which is above every name, that at the name of Yahushua every knee shall bow, of things in heaven, and things in earth, and things under earth, or under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that Yahushua is Lord, to the glory of Yahweh the Father. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, right? So we got to work out our own fear or salvation, right? As the scriptures say, examine yourself to see whether ye be in the faith. You know, you gotta be the first to rebuke yourself. You know, I've heard even brothers, you know, I believe it was brothers from the Dallas camp. I said this on a lesson a while back. You know, it's like you gotta be the first to rebuke your own self. You know what I'm saying? You can't let yourself get to where now other brothers got to rebuke you. You know, you got to get to where you rebuke your own self. You got to examine yourself continually, you know, on a daily basis, you know, to see if you are doing, you know, what's right and what's not. To see if you're doing, you know, the best that you can do or the best that you can't do. Or that didn't make no sense, Salakia. But you got to be the one to know if you're doing the best that you can do, is what I'm trying to say, right? You can't always wait for brothers, right? You're your own, so to speak, you're your own first line of defense, right? You got to be paying attention to your own, you know, spiritual condition. And you got to determine whether, am I doing the right thing, or am I slacking off? Am I being a little slothful? Can I do more? You know what I'm saying? And then pray and ask for more. Pray and ask for the increase. It's the book of Colossians chapter 3 and verse 8. It says, but now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him, where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Yahushua is all, and in all. Put on therefore the elect, as the elect of Yahweh, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long suffering, right? You know what I'm saying? The scriptures instruct us to put on the elect, right? Put on the works of the elect. You know, do the things that Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua has ordered us to do. Conduct ourselves in the way that the scriptures have ordered us to conduct ourselves. You know, become those men. You know, become, you know, the righteous men, or doing the best as we can possibly do. Because we can't be perfect, but we can strive for perfection. Right? It's the Baruch chapter 4, starting at verse 25. It says, my children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from Yahweh. For thine enemy have persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction, and shalt tread upon his neck. My delicate ones have gone rough ways, and were taken away as a flock caught of the enemies. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the heavenly Father, for you shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. For it was your mind to go astray from Yahweh, so being returned, seek him 10 times more, right? We have to seek Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua 10 times more than you know, what we even believe we're capable of. You know, we got to do the best that we can possibly do. We got to strive to be the best that we can possibly be when it comes to being in this truth. You know what I'm saying? We got to give all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua.
Please sign in to your vehicle.
You know what I'm saying? So, Lord willing, man, this video lesson was edifying. Giving all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua B'Hashem Chakodash. And until next time, Shalom.